For centuries, people have joked about the moon being made of cheese. It's a funny idea, but let's imagine for a moment. What if it were true? What if, instead of rock and dust, our moon was actually a giant ball of delicious, space-aged dairy? How would that change life on Earth? And what bizarre consequences would follow? First, we need to figure out what kind of cheese we're talking about. Let's say it's a sturdy, hole-filled Swiss cheese. Why? Because if we're going to replace the moon with cheese, we might as well go with something that looks like it belongs in space. Those holes would look fantastic through a telescope. But here's the thing. Cheese is much less dense than rock. That means our cheesy moon would have far less mass. And that's a big problem. The moon's gravity is what keeps Earth's tides moving the way they do. With less mass, the moon's gravitational pull would be weaker, so our tides would shrink dramatically. The powerful rolling tides we know today might turn into gentle ripples. That might sound nice for a beach day, but it would be disastrous for marine life. Many ocean creatures depend on tides to feed, migrate, and reproduce. Without them, entire ecosystems could collapse. And then there's the matter of the moon's orbit. The lighter our cheesy moon is, the more easily it would be affected by other gravitational forces, especially the sun's. Over time, it could drift out of its current orbit. Imagine looking up one night and seeing the moon much smaller, farther away, or much larger, looming closer than ever before. And if it came too close, Earth's gravity might just pull chunks of it down to the surface. You could be out walking your dog and suddenly, splat, a giant piece of cheddar crashes into your backyard. But let's not forget the smell. A ball of cheese in the vacuum of space wouldn't rot in the same way it would on Earth. But over millions of years, radiation and micrometeorites might break it down, giving off some interesting aromas. Astronauts might refuse to visit because the International Space Station could reek like an enormous fondue gone wrong. On the other hand, humanity might see this cheesy moon as the greatest resource in history. Space agencies could launch cheese missions to harvest the moon's dairy goodness. Instead of gold rushes, we'd have cheese rushes. Entire space industries could be built around importing lunar cheese back to Earth. Cheese-based fuel? Cheese-inspired cuisine that uses real moon cheese? The possibilities are endless. And what about eclipses? A rock moon blocks the sun's light in a dramatic, clean shadow. But a hole-filled cheese moon might let little beams of sunlight leak through, creating hundreds of tiny spots of light during an eclipse. Imagine standing in the shadow of the moon while sunlight pours through in glowing dots. It would be one of the most magical sights in the universe. Still, there's a more serious concern. The moon's current mass helps stabilize Earth's tilt, which in turn keeps our seasons predictable. A lighter moon would wobble more, and so would we. Over thousands of years, Earth's climate could swing wildly. Boiling summers, freezing winters, unpredictable weather patterns. Life on Earth would have to adapt or perish. So, as funny as the idea sounds, a moon made of cheese would be a cosmic disaster wrapped in dairy delight. We might get tasty snacks, strange eclipses, and a whole new industry in space. But we'd also risk losing the balance that makes life on Earth possible. The next time you hear someone joke that the moon is made of cheese, you might just smile. And then quietly hope it never happens. Because in the grand recipe of the universe, the moon we have now is exactly the ingredient we need.